Hello. So I remember that I got this really old notebook, and it's the first notebook that I ever got, and it's from 2003. So when I'm recording this video, it's 13 years old. And this is actually the first sort of Centrino uh, sort of thing that came out from Intel. And Centrino is basically sort of a mobile setup with the processor and the Wi-Fi, and it should have certain items in it. And yeah, it's kind of old, and you can see that I'm actually running Windows XP on it because it can't really handle anything else. It's a Pentium M, 1.4 gigahertz, and it has 2 gigabytes of RAM right now. And I actually think it came originally with 512 megabytes of RAM. And I think 2 gig is the maximum in this computer. It can't handle anymore, and it's not even DDR2 memory, it's actually DDR1. And yeah, I will show you that later on. The hardware, let's see, device manager. Yeah, I've deactivated the Wi-Fi, but yeah, it has a fast Ethernet, which means that it's not gigabit, it's 100 megabit network. So this was actually before gigabit sort of came the mainstream in computers. So yeah, this is how old it is. And let's see, these drives actually changed the hard drive because the original one actually broke. It was a Hitachi drive, 60 gigabyte drive. Um, and it says that it's a Mobility Radeon 9200, but that's actually a lie. It's actually a 9000 card. I don't know why they say it's 9200. So it's an ATI card. Well, this was actually before AMD bought ATI, so the computer actually still have the ATI sticker on it. What else do we have in here? Just a regular monitor. And this doesn't have any DVI outputs or HDMI or anything like that. Not even DVI, think of that. It has a SVHS output instead. So no digital outputs at all. It's just a VGA output it has, but no digital at all. It got PCM-CIA adapter, card bus controllers. And here you can see the processor is just a single core one. Usually if you have a quad core, you will see like 4 of them like this. And if it has hyperthreading, you will have like 8. But this is just a single core without any hyperthreading at all. So yeah, SCSI, sound controllers, just a Sound Max. Modern computers usually have some Realtek audio, but this has Sound Max audio. So nothing special. It has regular USB 2. Doesn't have any USB 3. It's USB 2, which is kind of good, at least that it's USB 2, because otherwise it will be really slow. So yeah, that's kind of what it is. Here you can see it's only one single core, 2 gigs of RAM, and I'm running Windows XP because it's not really that memory intensive. You can see available 1.7, so Windows XP takes like, what is it, 300 megabytes. And yeah, that's the page file use actually. So right now you can see that my computer, it's taking about 2 gigabytes, and that's Windows 7, and when I'm recording as well. So that's quite a difference between 300 megabytes and 2 gigabytes. So yeah, and I'm actually, let's see, I will make another video. I actually find a usage for this computer, and this is so old, this computer, that it doesn't consume that much power either. It consumes like a maximum of 40 watts from the power outlet or the wall outlet, and like an idle it will consume between like 25 watts, between 25 and 30 watts. So I'm actually using this as a Twitch chat bot, basically, and I use MIRC for that, and Ultimate Twitch bot. So yeah, I will make sort of videos about this, how you do that later on. But yeah, so that's how it kind of looks, and the native resolution for this monitor is, let's see, over here, yes. God, it's so long time ago I was running Windows XP that I can't remember. The maximum resolution is actually right now when I'm running, I can't really change it, but maximum normally is 1280 by 800. Kind of a weird resolution, but it is HD actually. So yeah, and of course I'm using a remote desktop to connect to it, because it's in a different room. It's in my living room, and it doesn't make any noise at all, because as I said, it consumes so little power. The fan almost never runs unless you actually do something serious with it. And yeah, the images, this is how it kind of looks like. And I think the model number was like X1000EA. Yeah, it's the sort of European version. And it has the Compaq logo there, and also on the back, on the back side it has the red Compaq logo. But yeah, this is how it looks like. Let's see if I can actually open this. Oh, it's not bigger. It has a DVD reader on the left side. Nothing much. A card reader at the front. It's really old card reader, so that it can't handle the new memory cards. So yeah, and I got a docking station for this as well, so it has a lot more ports as well. So yeah, that's kind of how it looks like. Let's see. For the most part, there are actually pictures of the battery, because the battery is kind of dead. I get like 30 minutes on it right now. And the chargers, it's a really small charger. And yeah, that's that. And I got some pictures here. Here's the old Hitachi drive, the first one, and it completely shut down. It's let's see here, ATA IDE, as you can see. It's not even SATA, from July 2003. So yeah, it doesn't say the size here anywhere, but I can actually see in the sort of model here, it's a 60, so it's a 60 gigabyte version. So yeah, and then actually bought is, when this broke down, I bought the new one. It's the 160 gigabyte version, and it has to be the special IDE connection to it. And then later on I actually got this Western Digital 320 gig version, but this doesn't really work. Well, you can sort of install Windows on it, but when it reboots, it says that it doesn't have any boot device. So for some reason, this hard drive is too big, or whatever, it can't handle it. So I'm actually kind of stuck with the 160 gig drive. And here you can see sort of it has a special adapter to it, like this. This is the normal IDE connection for it, and to be able to use it in a computer you have to put this special adapter onto it. And you can't really see it here, but there are some metal plates here on the sides, and they are quite sensitive, and I actually broke one of these, but it still works actually. So yeah, and it's really hard to get it on as well. And here's the sort of memory, first memory I got. And then I got some new ones, and you can see it's regular DDR, not DDR2 or whatever. It's a 256 gig stick, and you get, no, this was actually the original one. Yeah, it came with it has two slots, two memory slots, so it had like 512 meg original. And then I got yeah, and you see the speed, 266 megahertz. And you can see the unit pack. Yeah, it's kind of a funny thing, because I updated, it is a Compaq computer, but when I updated the BIOS, it suddenly said that it's a Hewlett Packard. So this computer has identity crisis. It doesn't know what it is. Pentium M processor. As you can see, I also got the 2 gigs memory. ATI Mobility Radeon 9200. So you can see it's quite old, the BIOS and stuff. Nothing much you can do in here. Not really that many. And the boot options, the optical drive and the hard drive. It has speed step at least. So when it's not doing anything, it's idle. It actually downclock the CPU so that it doesn't consume that much power. And here I actually taken off. You can see the ATI sticker, and I use this computer a lot, and the red color has actually been wiped off. And I was supposed to be cleaning off some dust in it, and that's why I've taken off the keyboard. Yeah, some dark pictures, and underneath here is actually the CPU. This is sort of the cooler for it. And here you can see actually one of the memory slots. I think the other one is on the back side or underneath it. So you actually have to remove the keyboard to access the memory. Yeah, that's the memory slot. And here I removed the cover here, and here's the fan. And the CPU is underneath here. It goes to this sort of a heat cooler, and the fan sort of pushes out air, sucks in air from the underneath it, and sort of sucks out. And you can see it's quite dusty. So people actually, when the CPU gets really hot, people actually forget to clean it, and I can understand that. There you go. So this is actually the main cooler for the CPU, and you can see it's actually really dusty. So there won't be any airflow, really good airflow. So that's why the CPU gets hotter and hotter, and finally it's kind of shuts down. So you actually need to clean this dust off once in a while. And I actually cleaned a friend's regular desktop computer, and the fan was it was like half an inch of layer of dust on the CPU, and no wonder that the CPU was shutting down all the time, because it was overheating. So yeah, many pictures. So this is actually the cooler itself. This one goes over the CPU, and it goes to the cooler. It's quite a small one. And yeah, this is the top one, over it, and this is the So underneath it, and you can see here's the sort of print from the CPU. So it's a pretty small one, and it doesn't have the heat spreader either. So yeah, that's my hand. You can see it's quite small. So yeah, so here we have the CPU, and this was actually also before they added sort of the heat spreader. Normally it should be sort of a metal plate over here, but this doesn't need it. So this is actually the CPU. It's quite small. And the same thing with the new processors. They are quite small actually. People think that the CPU is actually this big, but that's just the heat cover. Underneath it is it's like this, and it's basically a thumbnail. So that's the CPU. And to sort of unlock it, you unlock it with the screw, and then you can sort of pick it up. As you can see, this is the socket for it, and it has the CPU actually has the pins on it, and the modern CPUs actually has the pins on the socket instead. Yeah, it's a blurry picture, but and underneath here somewhere is sort of the graphics card as well. These are actually the speakers. This is the PCMCIe slot, and actually I got one of these gigabit network card for it. So yeah, that's the old notebook, but I finally got a use for it as a Twitch chatbot. Yeah, a long video about that, but I have really old hardware as well, and I might do a video about this sort of software and how you can sort of add scripts to it and stuff. So yeah, see you later.